Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Get off my lawn cards. I'm Dan. And this weekend, I actually did something I haven't done in a hobby in about 10 years. I went to a card show as a seller. All right. It's been a while. It was way before COVID last time I was selling at my own table. But a buddy of mine and I, who I've known since kindergarten, so let's say 10 years ago, we were thinking a few months ago that, hey, we want to sell at this show. This was at the Odawa Casino in Petoskey, Michigan. And unfortunately, the first date that we were supposed to go, that area got hit with a huge ice storm. And, you can see the effects of it even today. Lots of trees, thousands and thousands of trees that were just busted in half from the weight of the ice and then wind breaking them in half. It's really a sad situation. But they rescheduled it for this summer. I got an email from Jason Duncan. The Duncan family out of Cedarville runs this show. And I said, hey, we're going to redo it. We're going to reschedule it for June 14th. Can you do it? And checked with my buddy. He's like, yep, we'll be there. And we had a lot of fun at the show. And I'll show you just a little bit of footage how we set up for the show. But I'll just kind of tell you a little bit about what we each brought. I brought a lot of basketball. I'm kind of a basketball collector, as you know from the channel. I do have a few baseball stuff and some Tigers. And, I also had some sealed wax. As you can see up there, I do have some sealed wax. I brought some of that with me. And then my buddy brought just a ton of baseball. And he had a binder that was full of Tiger card autographs. Mostly Tiger cards. There's a couple Piston stuff in there mixed in as well. But we both did pretty well at the show. I sold over $200 worth of stuff. My buddy actually sold over $300 worth of stuff. And so we had a good time. We had a lot of laughs. We got to talk to a lot of people. I met a couple people that have seen episodes of the show, show here and there. And, we got to talk to a lot of collectors. Some people had some very interesting stories. They brought us cards to take a look at that were, you see the whole range of stuff. If you sold at a show, you know what I'm talking about. It was kind of funny. I was talking to my buddy. I was like, man, I'd really like to get like a Pedro Martinez autograph card, a real nice one. And this, like literally within 30 minutes, this young kid that, a Red Sox fan, he's like, hey, you want to take a look at the cards I got? And he had a really nice Pedro autograph. It was from Leaf Exotic, number to 10, PSA 10. You could tell he didn't want to part with it. He was a Red Sox fan. I don't blame him. But it was just, we had a laugh after that. It was just perfect timing. So we both did really well at the show. And, sometimes with shows, like they're really busy in the morning and then in the afternoon, they kind of wane up. They're a little bit like garage sales kind of. And that's kind of what we saw. But there was, there was a lot of, for a summer show, there's still a pretty healthy amount of people that attended. And also it was a redo. It was a makeup date from a previous attempt. So all in all, we had a good time. The casino in Petoskey does a great job of being very welcoming. Like they had a whole bunch of metal carts that we could load our stuff in. We could park right next to the doors of the casino temporarily, put our stuff on the cart, wheel it in, and then we also had carts to wheel our stuff back out. It really was really nice. It worked really well. The casino does a good job with the show. The Duncan family does a good job organizing it. The table cost was like $20, which is the lowest price you're going to see of a table. You also donate something that's worth around $20. What they do during the day is they have raffles. For every $10 you spend at a table, you get a raffle ticket. You fill in information. If your name gets called, you spin a big wheel, and then whatever number it lands on, you win that particular thing. My buddy donated Casey Mize, PSA 10 rookie. I paid for the table, so we wound up even Steven on that. But so it was a good time. Like I said, we both made some money. We had some laughs, talked to a bunch of people, saw a bunch of cards, cool cards, sold a few. Like I said, for me personally, I sold just wax pretty much. I sold a few singles. I had a Torkelson rookie that I sold. I had a Reggie Jackson 71 tops. I sold Calvin Johnson score rookie, BGS 9. There's probably one or two other cards I sold. I didn't sell a lot of individual cards, but I sold Wax, WNBA Prism, a couple 2020 Chronicles blaster boxes that my brother left here. They just like, hey, try sell them, and if you can sell them, great. I sold those 5. So actually, my buddy did. I was at the time we were taking turns, kind of walking around the show. One guy keeping an eye on the table, one guy walking around. I was walking around. It came back. My buddy's like, hey, I sold a whole bunch of wax for you. So it's like, hey, that makes it easy. So, like I said, shout out to the casino in Petoskey. If you've never been up in that area, it's a really very scenic, very nice area. You got Petoskey, you got Traverse City. Those are just really, really nice places. Like if you've never been to Michigan, you know, and you got a chance to visit anyways, try to get some of these places. They're really nice. We sat next to a kid who's probably 20 years old that came up during that weekend with his girlfriend. They were staying at a cottage, and he's like, hey, I saw that this show was on, $20 table. Well, why not? And he wound up selling stuff too. So we had a good time, and you know, it's encouraging. I may get back into selling a little bit. I still like walking the shows more than selling, but I do have a lot of stuff, as you see behind me. You should see my desk in front of the camera. There's just tons of stuff. So it's a nice time to sell stuff, and market-wise, it's still a good time to be selling stuff. And so we had a lot of fun. So I'll show you some footage of what the show looked like. A couple tables. I didn't shoot a ton of table footage because I was always keeping one eye on what was going on at our table. I didn't want to leave my buddy high and dry. But I did buy a few nice things and shot a little bit of footage. And so I get a little bit of a feel what it looked like. So, all right, we're getting set up at the show here. This is my buddy Randy's stuff. Baseball, big baseball fan. We're kind of sharing the glass case here today. So, kind of a nice mix. Basketball, baseball. I don't think any football. Well, a couple of football, I guess. And then I got dollar cards and a couple sets and some odds and ends. A little bit of wax. And then a whole bunch of like 10-cent cards and miscellaneous stuff, trying to just get rid of. So a little bit of everything. All right, as far as pickups go, not a ton of pickups, but some pretty good quality, I think. Let's take a look. First thing, I bought a impeccable Giannis Antetokounmpo stainless stars. This is one where they got the cover, like almost like a sticker type thing. Impeccable, really valuable, expensive brand. I'm kind of a sucker for Giannis stuff. Paid $20 for this card. As you see, it is number 70 out of 99. I think that's 99. Yep. And so I think, you know, a really nice card. I bought a bunch of stuff from this guy. You'll see from the yellow stickers on top. I bought two Wemby Topps Chromes, $8 a piece. I think that was a pretty good deal. This is one of these Topps Chrome cards that I think turned out really well because they kind of hid the logo. Some cards with chrome, they did that with. Some they honestly didn't care. But, you know, a couple nice Wembies. $8 a piece. These cards I bought from the same person. These were 3 for $5. I think good deals. A couple Lonzo Ball or LaMelo Ball Prism rookies. You know, back in the day, that was kind of the chase card of that. You know, variations of it and whatnot. But these were 3 for $5. I also did buy a Stephon Castle Red Wave rookie from Prism Draft Picks. Castle was a Rookie of the Year this year. They're making some noise to potentially pick up Kevin Durant. So we'll see what happens. The NBA draft or the NBA guys I listen to on podcasts and such think that Kevin Durant is going to be traded within the next week or so. Definitely before the draft, according to the experts. We'll see what happens. So those are, I think this whole stack was $40 that you see so far. One other card I picked up. This guy had a ton of this guy's cards. I saw what I thought was a really good deal. This is from 2014-15 SPX basketball. This is a Steph Curry, numbered to $7.99. I paid $10 for this card. I thought it was a really good deal. SPX, I really like the brand. You know, I think I might make a video later this week about, you know, uses of logos and such, because there's a lot of talk about that with Fanatics versus Panini. But Upper Deck really makes some nice stuff as well. I was watching Go GTS on live stream Thursday, and they were opening a box of the Cup Hockey, which is really an expensive brand. Costs like $1,000 for a hobby box, and that stuff just looks really sharp. You know, they have the NHL license, and man, they make some really sharp stuff. Almost to the point where it's like, man, that stuff's really nice. I'd buy singles of that, even though I'm not a hockey fan. But like I said, $10 for the Curry. I might look to flip this card. There's not a lot of comps. I'll take a closer look at what this. But I thought $10 for a numbered Curry from 10 years back really can't be beat. So not a lot of stuff I bought. The stuff that I mostly sold was wax. You know, and so I'll kind of keep that in mind for future shows. But so until next time, thank you for liking and subscribing, and we'll see you down the trail.